Hi, everybody. My name is Arkin40, and today I'd like to speak to you a little bit about the difference between agency work and a digital marketing company. When you're an advertising agency, you're basically hired to brand, build, and improve sales based on systems that are put in place and a process internally. Digital is a part of that, but we reflect and complement whatever is instituted and implemented within the company. I hope that makes sense. So, whatever you decide and create and build, we're going to make sure it's properly placed on the internet and then optimized, reciprocal linked, and really maximized so it'll give you the best results. For example, here's a training manual that I created, and we follow this very closely. If we show this to a client and they like what we're saying to them and they're going to follow this, then we're going to see very favorable results from their efforts. Every little process that comes up in the flower industry is reflected here. And by following it and seeing the numbers and addressing the challenges that companies face, they're going to have favorable results. And we're going to make sure it comes over to the digital side. The power vocabulary to me is very important. What you don't say to what you should say. Very, some people it's very minor, not a big deal. That's kind of not my customer. I like to feel like it's these little details that make the biggest difference and instill confidence. So we do that. We talk about the power vocabulary, beautiful finishing touches, how to complement your bouquet. It's so important how you say what you say. The tips on order taking, delivery priorities, and what's important there as well. Now, once you've done all that, you come over to what's called a digital roadmap. This roadmap here is how an idea or a finished product from your business comes over to the internet world. So you've got an idea. In many cases, the idea goes right to the website. Got a great idea, put it on a website. That's not always the best thing to do. It's good to get the idea and put it through the system so it can grow into the website. So by doing that, we go to the blog creation right here. You create the idea, you give it to your blogger, write the article, get the links created. Then you pass it on to the social distribution. This person and their company, their department now identifies where's it going to go from here. We're going to post it on Facebook. Is it going to go to Google Maps? Is it going to go to Bing? Is it going to go to Instagram? Is it going to be just Facebook? Where's it going to go? I mean, there's many different ways the content needs to be placed in order for it to reciprocal link and complement the whole pattern that's being created here. When that's all done and you've addressed the SEO, search engine optimization, NAP, name, address, phone, very important to keep that consistent. You don't want to be changing phone numbers, and that's another conversation. Reciprocal linking is what I'm talking about. That happens when you put a good article on a blog, you link to a part of the website that it belongs, and that part of the website might reflect back to an article on the blog. Google loves to see reciprocal linking because it's honest and it's clean. It's not gray hat, it's white hat. It's optimizing and doing things the proper way. So Google will give you more attention, validity, and your page rank will improve. Meta tagging. Do you have a lot of pictures? Make sure the pictures are tagged so Google knows what they are. Citation implementation. You always want to use your name as much as possible. That's a citation or the name of the product that you give it. Once all that's done, then it finds its place to your website and it's optimized. Now you're going to grow. So this is where we put a lot of our focus. Now, because I've been in the flower industry over 30 years, I've got a little idea about retailing and I've created a lot of material. And sometimes people mistake that for an ad agency or a consulting agency where I'm going to be your business coach. No, I don't make marketing plans. We all know the holidays that are coming up for the floral industry. Anything in between there depends on what's going on at the shop. If they go through Valentine's Day, for example, and my very next ad is scheduled to be something about spring is just around the corner. However, They have a lot of leftover flowers. Now what? Well, now maybe we need to do a $20 Tuesday or a $30 Thursday. What's that? It's a tool. It's a promotion. It's an opportunity. They do their email with us. We prepare an email that pushes out $20 or $30 worth of flowers wrapped and delivered for just $20 or $30. What does that do? It moves your product. You can select whatever flowers you want, and it gets delivered. So now it shows value. People start talking about it in the office. Oh, what'd you get? Flowers? Yeah, what's that for? I don't know, or whatever the reason is. But at the end of the day, even if they ordered it for themselves, I got all this for $30. Delivered? What you're really doing is giving away delivery. It's okay, isn't it? Can't we just offer to give a free delivery, wrap the flowers, and get it out the door in exchange for exposure? Wow, I can get for $20, I can have the flower truck pull up at my office with flowers that I can spread around and everyone can have some blooms at their desk or to their home. What can you get for $20 today? Let's face it, Amazon and a lot of people have made the price of a lot of services much more affordable. So everyone's working lean and mean. I think you need to think about the same thing. If you want to say, well, my delivery is this much and my it's not going to work. Okay. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you're sitting on a lot of flowers, we need a way to get rid of them. So you see what I'm saying? If I have a plan and I'm that organized and I've got this everything set up properly, then I'm going to, well, we had this email schedule. Now what are we going to do? It's not a part of the plan. Things happen. You might have a big wedding that you booked at the end of the month and you have a plethora of Gerber daisies or lavender, something you have extra from the wedding that we need to maybe do something to get that out, right? Or maybe create another bouquet and promote that on the web and social and back to the roadmap, right? You get it out there and let's figure out what it is and get it out so we can sell it. That's why I'm not a big fan of a plan. I think that we should have all hands on deck, see what the challenges are, understand what we're faced with, and doing what everyone else does isn't the answer. You've got to do something that's unique to you. The other thing is when you add pay-per-click, Google pay-per-click, you're going to see a whole nother appreciation for sales. Let me show you a sample. This is a client that these are two different shops here in January. The one client spent $2,800 and they converted 121 conversions on that campaign. In there is 108 phone calls that we have registered that they actually clicked and called. But he got 121 orders. So I like to say the average order is $85, but most people will gladly argue that theirs is higher, which is good. At least if I'm figuring this low, then if we just do 121 times 85, we get 10,000, well, it's over there, $10,285 in sales for $28.75 in cost. You're looking at about a 28% conversion cost. It's, I think, just fine. I mean, conversion rate of 11.74 is online. When you factor in the phone calls, you're at 10,285 based on those numbers there. Now, when you go over to somebody that would spend a little less, well, he spent $142. He got 10 conversions, and that's $850. So you're close. Some of my shops spend $4,000 and $5,000, and they're seeing $30,000. Now, these numbers move around a lot, but they're favorable, and they do make you money. You are out there getting new customers, unlike the past when you used to put inserts in the newspaper and hope for the best. What did you get from those? 0.5% maybe? 1%? You never had an ad campaign where you spent $1 and got $3 or $4 back. Let's face it. Google gives you that opportunity. Now, if you do your work well, you're going to increase that. That's my job, is to get that number higher. I've had results where we were okay, we got better, then we really hit it out of the park, then we slipped a little bit. I'm constantly battling competitors, costs. Do we always want to come up number one? Sometimes you might be better off being number two. Add the snippets, add all the extensions, really build out that campaign so you can corner and convert well. Do you like bounce rates? Do you ever look at that? Oh my God, the big number on analytics that everyone talks about. Oh, my bounce rate is this, and what's your bounce rate? Bounce rate doesn't mean anything. What if they sit on the website and then they call you and the website's open and they end up closing it and they place the order over the phone? Does the bounce rate really matter? At the end of the day, look at your sales, look at your expense, and see where you stand. If you're up considerable and your expense is reasonable, you're doing well. How much do we need to beat that into the ground? So almost all my clients, after a year or even by the quarter, are seeing significant increases. Some of them are truthful and kind enough to tell me how great they're doing. And that's wonderful. I don't charge most of my clients the 10% on top of the Google spend because pay-per-click works very well. I just charge a flat fee and I do my best for them because at the end of the day, this is the fuel that lights the fire. This is what keeps the company moving ahead and making money. All the rest of it is secondary. So right behind this, I want to know how you're answering your phones. If a flower shop says, well, we do our best, I know they're doing a good job. You got to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that the proper terms are being used on the phone, like I was telling you in here, that people are speaking properly and not losing sales. Because at the end of the day, right here, I can see in my systems that if we're losing sales, if people are calling and then hanging up, do you know what that number is? Put a simple piece of paper up by the phone and tell your staff, if you ever answer the phone and a customer hangs up or you can't close a sale, please write it down so the owner can know. If you're doing that, we're going to be successful. But what if a shop isn't doing that? What if they're not training their staff and they're not putting a lost order log and they don't even know the customer hung up? They went to their competitor. Now they come back to me and say, my sales aren't up. I can't take responsibility for that. I can tell you that clicks, conversions, phones, this is where we are. If you're not closing your sales, if your customers aren't comfortable with the products you're showing on your website, you have to figure that out. I can't tell you what's best for your market. I don't believe anybody can. But I will tell you that while you're doing business, I will be making sure everything goes where it needs to. My staff will be doing all that. I've got a great team of strategists, and I will take care of the pay-per-click side to make sure you're getting sales. In the beginning, it's a bit bumpy, but then it gets better and better, and I can give you client after client that'll vouch for that. In the beginning, they sweat a little bit. They were nervous. The first question is, what's the budget going to be? There is no budget. There really isn't any budget. If I get you to where I want you to be, which is about 3,000 to 4,000 in spend, 20 to 30,000 in sales, I think you want me to spend as much as I can. I know, different way of thinking, but this is the difference between the Avas, the Just Flowers, and all those people that are driving you crazy, that are all over your search results. Why are they there? Because you're not. Because you're not willing to think differently. They are. So let's just step back and realize we're in the age of digital. We're moving at the speed of light. To sit there and say, I'm organized and I know what my plan is, and I've got a 5-year plan. I love that one. A 5-year plan, that's an eternity and then some. The industry is moving so fast. And then right before your very eyes comes COVID. Who saw that coming? We had to move so quickly, the right messages, updating Google My Business, getting things set up, making sure customers knew you can call and place your order, but you can't come in, You got to go to the door. The shop's going to be closed. The shop's going to be open. They're only going to be open so many hours in a day. Talk about some variables that you have to know what you're doing to make sure your Google ads are running right, because if that store closes their doors or they want to take a few days to retract, you better shut the Google ads down. Do you expect them to call you and say, by the way, please take down my Google ads? They are in crisis mode. They're losing staff. They've got flowers. I have to be doing my job in the background. And that's what our team was doing. We were letting our shop owners run their stores, and we were in coordination with them. So That's something to think about too. So too much planning, I don't believe is a good thing. Owners, get in the driver's seat. We're behind you, making sure everything goes where it needs to go. If you have any questions, call me anytime, 941-544-5000. Click and go over to our website. Make sure you stay in touch with us. Watch these videos that are coming out. They can't hurt. It just makes you think a little bit different. And that's what I did for 30 years. I listened to all my competitors tell me how to run my business. They're not there anymore. So do what's best for your business. And that's going to be the big picture view by the owner. And don't let everyone else distort that vision that are around you. They're not usually looking out for your best interest. Thanks.